Hello, I'm Richard Voves, a bold explorer, and I'm in search of England. And today I'm looking at churches, but not like my normal investigation when I look at churches. Today I'm taking a walk about, I suppose, in a 1 square mile of where I live in the centre of Worthing, and I was just struck actually by the amount of churches that there were in this area. Here's one such one right here, and I thought, why is it there are so many churches? And they're all relatively new, but not only are they new, they're huge, great big churches. So I'm in Worthing. Down that way is the train station, and the main town is back up that way. Just going to cross the road here to have a look at this church. I'm looking for the denomination as well. Oh, this is the Worthing Baptist Church. Absolutely huge. Interesting, the architecture of these things, built with well, probably stone and brick actually, but faced off with some flint, and it's got slate on the roof as well. Lovely church windows, but it's only when you get to see the back of it you realise it's actually quite colossal. Okay, I'm going to keep walking because my next church is up ahead. I've reached the law courts, Worthing law courts, which are behind me. I'm just going to cross the road here, which takes you into town. Oh, I can't go. Oh, I'm going to risk it. And down the far end, you've got the library and the old post office. So they've moved the post office. They've been fiddling around here. But here, as I go down Grafton Road, is another of the churches. This one is actually one of my favourite looking churches from an artistic or architectural point of view. I do like this one, and again it is actually quite colossal. This is Christ Church, Parish Church of Worthing, and it's got this massive bell tower, as you can see, and I'll come round this way. It's probably easier to see it, to get a sense of its absolute vastness. And as far as I know, all of these churches were built around about the 19th century, when there was in this country a huge church building and restoration project going on. It seems that at that time there needed to be, I suppose, churches and religion were being questioned. Darwin had questioned the whole thing about religion with his theory of evolution, and I think, and I don't know, but there seemed to be this absolute importance from the church that was stamped out. I don't know, maybe. It's going around this side of this rather colossal thing. It's absolutely vast. But it does seem that people went to church in vast numbers, and at that time Worthing itself was a very much a growing town, and it's hard to imagine it now. I'm going to move on towards my next church, but it's hard to imagine it now that on a Sunday people were dressed up in their finery, they marched out and dutifully went and sat in their pews and gave their forgiveness and thankfulness to their Maker. We don't do that in the numbers that we once did. And you can see by the quality of the houses here, you know, they're so close to the church and the type of church. It would have been a great sight seeing them marching down in the mornings or in the afternoons to the various masses in the day. Must have been quite a sight. And I know this is going to sound a bit strange, but to me, being non-religious, it's a bit like when I was reading H.G. Wells's The Time Machine, and the Eli at certain times when the Morlocks called would down everything and go and enter through the big doors of the Morlocks world, and I guess they were killed and eaten. I'm not suggesting by any means that was going on with the church, but that sort of, I don't know how to describe it, that almost hypnotic thing about having to go. And religion was such an important part in our history. It's amazing that people dutifully did that. This one is the Chapel of Ease, and I walked past it the other day in a video which was also in the rain. Originally it was part of the Broadwater Church, which is up the road about a mile in Broadwater. Broadwater was a village in Worthing before Worthing was a thing. This was just a little fishing village, really, and the church, which is the original church, which dates back, I think, to the Norman period, if not Saxon times, was the main church, and then you've got the Chapel of Ease as Worthing started to develop. Just walking down towards Stein Gardens in what is laughably called the High Street. I say that because there is this rather huge and unsightly multi-storey car park in the High Street now, and it's changed terribly over the years. I'm not a great historian of Worthing by any means, so I can't tell you too much about it. I've only lived in Worthing for 30 years. Opposite me, though, is another church. Cocktail bar and restaurant is what it is now. That's very much looking at the architecture and not knowing the true history of what it was, but it does look very much like a Victorian church of some denomination. And this was the thing. We had the Church of England, but at the beginning of the 19th century, you started to get different elements of the Christian faith coming in and wanting to have their say. So you'd have the Catholics coming back, and the Methodists and various other denominations and groups. Just going to cross the road, thank you very much. There's another church on the corner here I want to show you. This is it's a lovely church that I understand recently has changed from what it was. I think it was a Methodist church, I'm not 100% sure on that. And again, it's got the bell tower up there, quite a slender bell tower actually. And now I don't know what it is. It seems to be taken over. Let's go and have a look. See what this is now. A Coptic, I don't know what that is. They built all these churches, and I guess when you had a population that was growing in Worthing as it was, and there was this wild religious bent, I'm guessing that you needed to have the premises, but it's just so staggering that they built them so big and so grand. And then, of course, as we get into the 20th century, religion starts to disappear. People are questioning, they're losing their faith, and other things have taken over, such as commercialism, capitalism, the internet now, and social media, global warming, climate change. These seems to be the big religions of the day, and the old faith seems to have vanished. But that is the way of the world, I suppose. And I guess what I'm saying is that It's just fascinating that we walk past these churches, and there's so many in a square mile, just so many churches that at one time were designed with love, built with love, and worshipped in. And now, like this one, is a cocktail bar, and people worship in a completely different way. Anyway, it looks like we've got a bit of respite with the sunshine coming out. So I will continue my search for England. And in the meantime, if you've enjoyed the video such as it was, don't forget to follow, like and subscribe and become a patron and help me out and give me a thumbs up. All the usual. And I'll see you on another one. Hopefully on a quieter day with less traffic and less rain. Till then, bye-bye.